An investigation by the Israeli military determining that Hamas was able to carry out the October 7th attack because the IDF misjudged the terrorist group's intentions. It's all according to this report, showing the Israelis also underestimating Hamas's capabilities and was unprepared for the surprise attack by thousands of heavily armed terrorists, this in the early morning hours of a major Jewish holiday.
Outgoing IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi is taking the blame for the Israeli army's failures, saying that he was the commander that day and that it is his responsibility. Now, this is the same conclusion reached by past reports by military officials and analysts. Mike Huckabee is the U.S. ambassador to Israel. Ambassador Huckabee, thank you for coming on. We appreciate your time. What do you think? Was Israel underprepared?
Well, obviously they were. Let me just say I'm the nominated ambassador. I've still got to clear the Senate confirmation process, which I hope will happen very soon, and I'll be able to be deployed to Israel. But two times in Israel's modern history, since 1948, they've had disastrous moments in which they were unprepared for the attack. One was in 1973, the Yom Kippur War, which happened to be the year that I made my first visit to Israel. And then, of course, October the 7th of 2023. In both cases, the consequences were dire. And I think Israel will never again make this mistake because they do understand deep down that there are people out to get them. As the old saying goes, you're not paranoid when they really are out to get you. Let's be honest. There are forces, they are demonic, evil forces, and they're not just interested in taking a little bit of land away from Israel. They're interested in taking every bit of land from Israel and killing every Jew alive. And that's why anti-Semitism is such a dangerous thing in our world today.
Yeah, I want to get to that in just a moment in terms of anti-Semitism and that living here in America. But first, I wanted to ask you about this. An Israeli official saying that the IDF is not leaving the Philadelphia corridor. Again, this is something that was promised along with this ceasefire hostage release deal, if you will. But they're staying. At least that's what this report has said. There was seemingly a shift when the announcement of the Bibas family was returned, and then Shiri, the mother in the Bibas family, was not, and only to be returned at a later date. But what tugged at most people's hearts was that 9-month-old baby that was taken, and then obviously once the autopsy was performed, it found dead and brutally beaten just a couple months into being held in captivity. That obviously angered Israelis, and did that play any role, perhaps in your mind, in the IDF choosing to stay in place at the Philadelphia corridor?
Sean, I think they don't have a choice. There is no negotiation with Hamas that represents anything of honor, decency, and trustworthiness. They just are not capable of that. They've made it very clear, even in recent days, that their goal is still the same, to kill Jews and to annihilate Israel. So they haven't changed anything. They just want to have Israel back off and let them have time to rearm, regroup, and do more mayhem. So the fact that the IDF and the state of Israel is going to continue to prosecute the war against Hamas should be no surprise to anyone. It would be a bigger surprise and an outright shock and, frankly, stunning if Israel said, yeah, we're just going to walk away and let Hamas get their arms back and, heck, come back at us again, which they've pledged to do. So there's no choice here. Israel must continue the complete annihilation of Hamas because Hamas has its goal as the total annihilation of Israel.